I'm Kathy Ageron.
And I'm Jennifer Perini, and we're with Brevard Cultural Alliance.
Brevard Cultural Alliance is the designated local arts agency for all of Brevard County. We serve cultural organizations, artists, and do arts education programming in Brevard Public Schools, among lots of other things.
We are excited to welcome you back today for episode 2 of season 2 of True Colors.
With True Colors, Brevard Cultural Alliance seeks to highlight diversity and inclusiveness for Brevard's cultural community by providing a platform for new voices.
Thank you so much for joining us today. And just a quick reminder that all our episodes are available on both our Facebook and YouTube channels.
And now it is our distinct pleasure to introduce the host of True Colors, CEO and owner of Diversity of Thought, David Jones.
Hey! Hi, how you two doing?
Good.
Great.
How are you?
Oh, I can't complain, not yet. But we'll see how the program goes. I'm really excited to be here. Today's going to be awesome. And Kathy and Jennifer, as always, I cannot thank you enough. We appreciate everything that BCA is doing to give this voice out to the community. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, so we're going to get the show going. So we are going to say goodbye to Jen and Kathy for now. And I am very excited because at some point I am going to be joined. Hey, hello there, Kristen. I'm going to be joined by an amazing co-host. We're just working on getting her back in the studio. But while we're doing that, I'm going to bring on our guest for today. These young women are world changers here in Brevard County. So please, give that virtual round of applause to first Miss Sonia Mallard. Hello, Sonia. How you doing?
Hi, David. I'm doing well. Thank you.
All right. Hey, listen, I'm so happy you're here. You and your partner in crime, Kershonda Bright. How are you?
Hello. How are you?
I'm fantastic. So thank you two for joining. And we have an amazing guest host with us today. And that is a Miss Dallas Clark coming back from season 1. What? Hi.
Hello, ladies. Welcome
Hi.
to today's show. Hi.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Welcome.
All right. And then, of course, we have people that's tuning in. So if you're tuning in, hi, make sure that you're sharing it so that we can push that out there. And best class ever 2022 is incorrect, Candace. It's 2021, but that's okay. I know Sonia's on there for 2022, so we'll let that slide. So I'm really happy to be joined with you two from the Harriette T and Harriette V Moore Cultural Center. So Dallas, I'm going to give you the honors. Is there any questions that you would like? I'm going to give you the first dibs on questions since you are our guest today, our guest host. Uh-oh, did I lose you? Okay, so I'm going to take back those honors, and I'm going to go ahead and ask the very first question, and that is, when did you two learn about the Moors in general? Just this story is so amazing. When did you two first learn about it?
I first learned about the Moors. I moved down to Florida from New York about maybe 25 years ago. And during one of my battles with cancer, I came around and I saw this building and I was like, So when I came in, that's when I learned about the Moors. And I thought to myself, did I miss that day of school? Who were these people? And I just thought the place was beautiful. The story was powerful. And I was like, how can we not share the story of the Moors? Lala?
So I first learned about the Moors actually when I was researching Thurgood Marshall. It just had like 2 little words. It said like 2 little lines. It said that Thurgood Marshall grieved his friend Harry and Harriette Moore for 2 weeks. And I thought, well, that's a long time for him because he didn't grieve that long for his first wife. So I went researching them and then I found out about a little bit about them. But when I was working at the library in youth services, they were looking for someone to do the research to help put the information on the Timeline Museum wall. And so I ended up being moonlighting here doing that. And I found out a whole lot more about the Moors, like a lot about just that era and that time period. And then I ended up working here. So.
Okay, well that's awesome, and yeah, like I'm with you because I'm like, hey man, like did I miss that day in school? Like, wait, what is happening? And I went to school here. So for those of us who don't know, can you two tell us who were the Moors? Like, who were they? What did they do? What are they known for?
Well,
So go ahead, Sonia.
Harry T. Moore was the most hated black man in the state of Florida. He was before I Had a Dream Today. He was even before By Any Means Necessary. And that question you said, David, so many people never heard of the Moors. But Harry T. Moore fought for three things. He fought for equal pay for black teachers. He also fought to teach his students how to cast ballots. And then he investigated every lynching that took place in the state of Florida. And Cassandra will follow up with that.
So when I think about Harry T. Moore, I always think about his wife, right? His wife was very instrumental in what he did because his wife had to be on board. Mr. Moore definitely started the Progressive Voters League. He was able to register over 116,000 people to vote. He started the NAACP chapter here in Brevard County, and he was the president until he died. He was also the NAACP first executive secretary to the Florida NAACP national office. And so he was paid to go around and set up chapters of the NAACP throughout the state of Florida after he lost his job. And he definitely was a game changer because if it had not been for him, all of those local groups that would not have galvanized behind the NAACP in order for them to raise the funding to be able to file for lawsuits that had to do with the bus boycotts and the Brown versus the Board of Education.
Man, so one, this is an amazing family. It's just a husband and wife duo to hear what they were able to accomplish together. What ended up happening with the Moors?
What ended up happening was that on December 25th, 1951, they spent Christmas like, anyone who celebrate Christmas, the birth of Jesus, right? And they went over to their family's house to celebrate, but they weren't going to open up their presents because Evangeline was coming home the next day on the train, December 26th. So they went over, they ate some food, they laughed, and then they came back home. Well, something evil was lurking in the groves, and it was the KKK. And unbeknownst to them, they had the layout of their house. They knew where the bathroom was at. They knew where the kitchen was at. They even knew what side of the bed he slept on. And his mother was visiting from Jacksonville, and his oldest daughter was there. But not only was it Christmas, though, David, it was their 25th wedding anniversary. So Harry came home and he had some cake and he wanted to dance a little bit with Harriet, and they set up and talked, and his mother spoke to him, and I'm going to paraphrase the conversation. She was like, Harry, you got to stop this foolishness. They're going to surely kill you. You got a target on your back. And Harry was pretty much like, what's the price of freedom, Ma, right? And they went to bed. And when they went to bed, you got to remember, there was no houses on this street. It wasn't even called Freedom Avenue. It was nothing but orange groves. And when they were asleep, the Klansman was hiding in the grove. And approximately 10:20 p.m., boom! They said that was the loudest bomb heard around the world. People from as far as Scotchmore came running. Titusville came running. That bomb was so explosive that it took Harry and Harriet's body, lifted off the bed, printed into the ceiling, and caved into the ground. You know what? There wasn't a hospital here that would see a black man, David. So they had to put Harry and Harriet in his own Ford Model Way car and drive all the way down Highway 46 to the city of Sanford. And when they got there, Harry was frantic. Doctor, do something. My husband. And Dr. Starks was waiting, and he gave him a needle about yay big. And he was pretty much dead on arrival. Lala?
So once they got there and after, they start investigating the bombing of the Moore home, they start talking about who was actually involved, because they knew that the Klan was involved, and they also tried to link it back to the Sheriff Willis McCall. Now, they were not able to link it back to Willis McCall because the person who he had spoken to about it had actually killed himself. His name was Cox. Cox had gotten a gun and a shovel from his neighbor, and he dug a grave and killed himself after being questioned by the FBI. He had one question for them. He asked the FBI agent, would the charges stick? When the FBI agent said yes, that is when he decided that he was going to kill himself. So we'll never know the full plot of the story. But we do know that the FBI agent definitely was the one who found out the whole full plot of the story. Now, the FBI agent said that there were other men who were involved, that they could prove that they were involved. So there was Thompson, who owned a weed and seed company, and this weed and seed company that he owned was able to go into neighborhoods, and they believed that they were the one that was provided the map for the Moore home. And then he also was able to say exactly where the home was, because there were not a lot of white people that were allowed into the neighborhood at that time. Most of the time, even though Mr. Moore lives in the white side of town, a person from another race frequenting someone else's home was not something that was commonplace. And then we had Belvin and Brooklyn, and they were believed the ones who sat in the orange grove and actually placed the bomb under the home, because they had been in a renegade. They had been renegades. They had gotten kicked out of one Klan group, and they had done this, a similar type of thing before. So those two, were all involved in the bomb.
There's a documentary on Netflix called Don't Mess with Cats, and it's not mess with, but this group did this investigative reporting on trying to figure out something, and I feel like that's what we need. We need a group like them, of these I never seen nothing like it. These regular citizens found somebody that the FBI couldn't even find. But just to truly be able to get some actual closure, because it sounds it is absolutely, it is very tragic to hear the story and listening to the history of everything that took place. Now, that part is tragic. What's come from it now is pretty amazing, and I like to discuss that as it relates to now what has come from such tragedy.
Well, we have this facility here. We are definitely giving tours to the public. We have tour groups, especially when we are working with the Broward County school system, and we are working with other organizations that come here and tour. But Sonia can speak to that more.
And Sonia, so this is a replica of the house?
Yes, that is a replica of the home.
Okay.
And what's so great about that home, David, is that Evangeline Moore was able to speak with Mr. Bill Gary and give out the layout of the remembrance of her home. So it's to the specifications of her remembrance. So it's really as close as a replica that you can ever get. And as Lala was saying, out of the ruin and the ashes of that bomb, I'm proud to tell everyone today that we're a voting polling place. Yes, everyone in this zip code have to come right here to 2180 Freedom Avenue, and they come right inside and go in our conference room. And Lori Scott, our supervisor of election, ensure that the polling, booths and stuff are set up. So I think that's cool, right? They killed the man, but didn't kill his dream. And also on this 12 acres, as you can see, beautiful land, we have a civil rights walking trail. And as you walk through that gazebo and go to the trail, you can read different civil rights history moments that took place in the state of Florida. I'm also proud to tell everyone that we're on the U.S. Civil Rights Trail. So if you Google that, you will see we were one of the first places in Florida to be on that trail. And that's really awesome, And the last thing that's happening that we're really, really excited about as well is that Congressman Charlie Crist nominated Harry and Harry T. Moore for the highest civilian medal, the Medal of Freedom. And he wrote a letter to President Biden, and we're just anxiously awaiting to see what Biden's going to say. Listen, y'all can say what you want, but right here in Mims, Florida, we're already on the map, but we're going to be nationally, internationally more known to be on this map because this is really a historic civil rights museum that covers the story of the legacy of Harry and Harry T. Moore. Actually, it covers, like Lala said, from 1860, the Emancipation Proclamation, the Timeline Museum, all the way up to 1964, the Civil Rights Act. So we're excited of all the great things that's happening.
I grew up here in Brevard County, way down here in Palm Bay. So that's a hike. But I felt weird because I'm like, hey man, I never even heard of this while growing up. That's insane. There's this amazing piece of history that's like 45 to an hour, depending on how you drive, north of me. And yet here I am. I had no clue that it existed. What year did the center open?
2004.
Okay, so I don't feel too bad. I was gone, but I still feel it's insane because I was taught history in school, yet our history, this American piece of history, is right here.
Yes.
How are we making sure that the kids don't grow up like me, being so close to history yet so unaware? What are we doing around the county to make sure that doesn't happen anymore?
Lala?
Well, we are having tour groups that come here. We were part of a curriculum I'll let me back up. So in 2021, the school board issued a proclamation and that they said that they unjustly fired the Moores. So they will be known as teachers emeritus, which means that they will always appear on the payroll. And that's important. Secondly, that the curriculum about the Moores will be incorporated in Brevard County education. And so the curriculum is being incorporated, and we worked all summer long to make sure that the teachers were able to get all of the references that they needed so that they can incorporate it into different entities when it comes to education, because there's so much here that they can incorporate it into. It's not just they incorporated it in social studies, civics, math, art. It's all of the angles that they came to the center and incorporated the Moores into. So it's not just one thing. It's a whole plethora of things that they'll be incorporated in. And then thirdly, the 8th grade students will be required to come here and take a field trip. And so we spend a majority of our time giving field trips to those 8th grade students. And that's very important because that's how we're touching the future. They're learning about how this fits in with their American history. And I think that that's important because we keep saying Black history. This is American history. This is all about what happened in America at this time period. And we need to start looking at it as not Black history, but American history, because it's integrating into and it touches on so many aspects of life in America. And we need to really think about how we say when we single out something, how it fits into the fabric of America.
I love it. And I love the fact that, and Carol Watson says, awesome. So we already, look at that, man. The crowd is loving it. The crowd is loving it. Continue to highlight and showcase the benefits of what Brevard County has to offer. And I agree with you. I think it's amazing that we get to showcase this piece of American history, this piece of Brevard County's history. And not just the focus of the tragedy and the atrocities that took place, but I think, Sonia, as you said, what rose from those ashes and what was able to happen because of, and even where we are today is amazing. I do want to ask you, I think, Sonia, you highlighted a few things, but if you could, just what are some of the activities and exhibitions that the museum and the complex has to offer, just to make sure people know, like, it's great to go, but there's other things that you can do there if you're an organization or even if you're just an individual. So if you could just touch on a few things that the complex has to offer.
Great. We have to offer a couple of things. We always have strategies of successful women. So women come from all walks of life. We choose about 7 throughout Brevard County, and they come and they share their stories of how they became successful. And that's been extremely successful. We had people, you name them, Rita Pritchett, we had Liz McAterian, we had, you name them, they've been here, from police, Titusville Police Department, Amy Matthews, to the janitor, right? Anyone in any aspect of their lives, they've been exposed to successful women. And then we would have an annual tea party. And I'm talking about tea with our pinky up outside the gazebo. We would have our pearls on and our hats. And that's been really fantastic. Our last speaker was Vanessa Eccles. We even had Pasha Baker from the Goldsboro Museum out of Sanford. Then we have Men on a Mission. And that's another great event that we have men from the area that comes. And like, for instance, Randall Clay, he's an engineer at NASA, and we needed our young people to see what engineers look like you and I, right? Regular, everyday folks. We had former Mayor William Capote down, and to hear his story moved everyone to tears, right? Then we always put our brains together, Cassandra and I, and what can we do that's creative and innovative to get the masses in that we wouldn't normally touch? Well, we came up with a great annual antique car show, right? So now it's a whole nother world, because when I tell you those old cars were coming down Freedom Avenue, I was videotaping them, because I'm talking about like 1940, 1930, these classic cars. And I think the first year, Lala, we had about 52 cars. The second year, we had about 67. And then, we had COVID. And then that third time, we had close to almost 85 cars. So every year is getting bigger and stronger. But what happens is that that's a whole nother family, right? And people that we wouldn't normally touch. And remember, Harry T. Moore had a car back then. So that's how we connected to get that event going. And then we have cultural events. We have cultural lectures, different people like Dr. Anthony Dixon, Dr. Tamika Hobbs, the Freedom Riders. So we have speaking engagements. We have all sorts of things for people to come and do. And then a lot of people think homeschools. Well, how can we bring our homeschool there? How can we talk? Well, Lala is fantastic at, she'll play an animated movie, right, called Henry in a Box. So even for little children from kindergarten up, that can speak to not so much the lynchings and everything that took place during the Jim Crow era, but we're talking about freedom in a way for children to understand, right, and to see it. So we've just been, and we really have gratitude. Like my supervisor is Terry, who runs the North area, is Jeff Davis, and our director is Mary Ellen Dunner. And of course, our commissioner is Rita Pritchett. But I'm just trying to show you, it's a team of people that really help us be as innovative and creative as we can be to teach the masses. And that's what we love here, because we can do it outside of the box. And it's fantastic. Lala?
Yeah, we get to be as creative as we want to be. We definitely have picked up a couple of schools, like for Mims Elementary, we focus on doing their Black History program. We used to do their Black History read, and we help them with what kind of activities they want to have, what kind of books that they would like to read to the kids. We even go over and speak to them just to inspire the kids to do their best in school. And I think that's so important. We go to these SAC meetings, for Mims Elementary. We've also adopted the middle school, which is Madison. And we're just trying to make sure that we step in where there are gaps in our community, and make sure that the kids know that they have a place that they can come and learn about anything that they wanted to learn about in this era. Because, we're open from like 9 to 5 every Monday through Friday. We close for lunch, so every now and then a building is closed. And we do have Saturday by and Sunday by appointments only. So if you happen to come by here on a Saturday that we're open, like this next Saturday, we'll be having an event with the Space Museum. So we partner with other places in order to get the word out too. So we love, we have diversity in space, and we want people to come out and learn about how Blacks were intricate in making the space program happen. And these are all things that are attributed to us being part of two different organizations. We're part of the FAAHPN, which is the for the Black museums, and we're part of the MOB, which is the Museums of Brevard for the museums that are in Brevard County. And we all partner together to make sure that we have successful programs. You cannot do it without collaborations and partnerships with different organizations.
I
David,
just
I just
learned
want to
about
jump in and say we do diversity training as well. And what was so powerful about this, we had an article in Florida Today. They reached out from Titusville High School. So every 3 months, we were going to Titusville High School to Miss Shimmer class to teach them. And they were in the healthcare. And that's how we implemented Harriette V into the healthcare, to show people that you're going to have different types of people with different biases, but the importance is what? Always treating people with kindness. So that's been fantastic also. Just wanted to share.
I'm really happy to hear all of the, I called you this earlier. We have 2 world changers that were joining us today. Our Brevard County world changers. I appreciate it. I also know that you could do weddings there.
Yes.
You could host events. I'm telling you, I'm blown away by the complex. And I can't wait to get up there, because I'm going to go through the museum. I'm going to, when I get there, I'm going to go live. Like, I'm not going to go live like around everything. I'm going to go live like, I'm here, I made it, and y'all need to make it too, because I really do think people need to come out and experience this. When we talk about history and we talk about the arts, being able to combine those 2 things together right here in Brevard County is absolutely amazing. And I'm glad you guys work with the MOB, because I just learned about them. I think that's a great name, by the way. I was like, are they part of the MOB? I'm like gangster? They're like, no, Museums of Brevard. I'm like, okay, MOB, got you. So, ladies, I cannot thank you enough. If you can, please give us what's the give us one more time, dates and times, and then is there a cost to show up, or?
No, it's free.
What? Whoa, wait, time out. You mean to tell me people are gonna come and see all this amazing art, learn all this amazing history, get to be with amazing dope people like you two, and it don't cost them anything?
No, it's free.
Man, I tell you what. So we definitely have to. All right, so there's no excuse. Oh, wait, hold on. I know that it's you two and you've got a little bit of help, but is there any other way people can help? Like, what do you sisters need to thrive, to continue to thrive and push this mission out? Like, how can we help? How can we get involved?
Well, we need volunteers right now, because we having over 300 students a day, and we break them up into 4 groups. So we're looking for volunteers to come and help us. We're looking for people who, we even have a job opening for a part-time position that's been on the books for the longest. They can work with the county. They won't get benefits, but guess what? They're working for the county. We have a lot of needs. Also, you got to remember, we thrive on donations for programming, that sort of thing. However, we have a board of directors, and they have a gift shop. So that's, the board of directors gift shop. So our needs are really, we just need people to come through our door. We need people to rent our facility. We have a gazebo for rent, a pavilion for rent, a conference room for rent. You name it, we have it, and we can provide it for you. We definitely have weddings here all the time. So we have a lot of things like that.
All right, so
but our biggest need is to come on out and see us. We'll give you a private tour.
Okay, I'm gonna hold you to that. I'm getting backstage pass tour. That's what I'm talking about. I'm gonna feel like, I know you just said everybody can get it, but let me feel like a VIP for a little bit. All right, so here, folks, volunteers. So if you can volunteer your time, volunteers, which is absolutely amazing. And in Brevard County, I've seen the power of giving. So come out there and help these folks. let everybody know about it. Please share this. There's a 5K coming up too, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yes, it is.
Okay, so I'm gonna. When do you know when the 5K is? I'm not sure because I don't know.
April 2nd.
Okay, so April 2nd. I got a little bit of time to get in shape, so I'm gonna try to get a little bit of the COVID off before I get out there, and then I'm gonna see if I can't join your 5K to help raise some awareness and some money for the organization because you guys are amazing. So it's probably way up there. You know, Palm Bay and Mills. So I'm gonna make this commitment now, and you can hold me to it because it's on the internet, which makes it true. So 5K to help support the Harriette V organization. The website is scrolling along the ticker, so you've seen that there. So please, by all means, they treat. Oh, look at that! They treat everyone like VIP. Thank you, Carol. Thank you, Carol, for stealing my shine. And then I was like, I'm a VIP. She's like, they treat everybody like VIP. Sonia, Kashonda, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you, David. Thank you.
And thank you for the work that you're doing in our community, for our community, sharing and educating and providing art and history combined into this one, very beautiful package. Thank you guys so much. We really appreciate you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much.
And we'll see you soon.
Yes, you will. And then again, watch the replay, like, love, share, tell everybody. This has been True Colors. And we'll be back in 2 weeks. Everybody have a fantastic day.
Thank you.